Hey everyone, welcome to the Dram Amateur Podcast, your go-to show for everything bourbon, whiskey, rum, tequila, mezcal, and beyond. I'm your host, Jason. Join me as I journey and explore the world of alcoholic spirits. Let's get started. All right, welcome back to the Dram Amateur Podcast, the show where we explore the stories, spirits, and sips that make the world of whiskey, bourbon, rum, tequila, and mezcal so exciting. I'm your host, Jason, and I'm thrilled to have you here for another pour of a great conversation. Before we dive in, don't forget to connect with me on Instagram, X, and Threads at Dram_Amateur and Facebook under the Dram Amateur Podcast to stay in the loop with exclusive content and updates. Whether you're a seasoned enthusiast or just starting your journey into the world of fine spirits, this is your spot to sip, learn, and share. So pour yourself something good, get comfortable, and let's kick off another unforgettable episode of the Dram Amateur Podcast. And ladies and gentlemen, today's guest just isn't building brands, he's building movements. Seth Benhaim is one of the most innovative minds in the spirits world, known for rewriting the rules with infused spirits and shaking up tradition with Broken Barrel whiskey. Now, he's turning his vision toward a category that, in my opinion, is long overdue for its spotlight: rum. With Mainland Rum, Seth has created the first independent American bottler focused on full-proof, single-barrel expressions that celebrate overlooked distilleries from coast to coast. He's not chasing trends, he's defining them. Mainland is more than a label. It's a statement that American rum deserves respect, recognition, and a seat at the top shelf. We're diving into the why, the how, and what's next. So pour yourself something bold, because this is a conversation with a true trailblazer. Please welcome to the Dram Amateur Podcast, the one and only Seth Benhaim. Seth, how are you doing today?
I'm good. Thanks for having me on, Jason. I appreciate it.
Absolutely, man. Thank you for connecting with me. You are my first rum podcast guy. I've done a sample one that I haven't connected with with my buddy. I sent him some samples from Appleton and Coroni and what were the other ones? A couple other distilleries as well. But I said I've always trying to get into this space with the rum community because I have a huge passion and appreciation for rum. And then when I stumbled upon you on Instagram, I was like, what is he doing? And you immediately piqued my interest. And I'm like, okay, I got to learn more. I got to connect with him. I got to know. So I'm nerding out a little bit right now that we're talking, but I really have a lot of respect for what you guys are doing. And you were kind enough to send me samples. So I want to start pouring some samples too, because I haven't had any. I'll tell you, I was real. Oh yeah, man. It was hard. These things have been staring at me.
That's very brave to have waited.
So which one do you suggest I pour first?
I go Georgia 7, the green.
Okay.
Then I go to the 7 sherry cask, which is the Florida red.
Okay.
Then I'll go California blue, I believe you have as well.
Yep.
And the Louisiana 10.
Okay, perfect. So just to kind of show everybody, I got little samples. The transparency is really awesome on these. So we're going to crack these, talk through some stories and learn more about the Mainland Rum journey and go from there. So let me kick us off while I'm pouring, because I want to hear from you and I want to give you the time to share your story. So Mainland Rum's the first 100% independent rum bottler.
It's the first 100% American rum bottler.
Okay.
So we're the first to ever just focus solely on rums that were distilled and aged in the contiguous 48 states. We're not, sourcing from any islands or importing or blending or anything like that. So as of right now, the brand is, to my knowledge, and anyone correct me if I've done a lot of research, there seems to be nobody else doing this, to my knowledge. If there's someone else doing it under the radar and I've never heard of them and no one else has either, I'd love to meet that person and join forces. But I am 98% confident, maybe 99% confident that does not exist. So yes, I'm the first to do independent American rum bottlings. There's plenty of Americans doing independent bottlings of rums from Panama or the Caribbean or South America or even from around the world, but no one's focused on the U.S. So I thought, well, let's just do that.
That's really cool. So how did the idea come about, and what like was that aha moment where you're like, I got to go showcase domestic rums and everything that that America has to offer?
I was working on a project for a client that had me visiting distilleries in the Northeast.
Hmm.
And I stumbled into a distillery. I stumbled into many, one of which was privateer. I actually walked in unannounced. I think the door was locked, and I like went in through the roll up or whatnot. And they're like, "Who are you? What are you doing here?" I was like, "Oh, I want to talk to you guys about rum. I've got a client that wants to buy some rum." We were going to do a New England rum for that project, but the distillery visits led me to this sort of realization from not only what I saw, what I tasted, and sort of what was happening, coming from California to going out to spend some real time on the streets of Boston and, look at the bars, look at the distilleries. And then I stumble into this one distillery, and the guy's got like 10, 11, 12, 13, 14-year-old rums. And he's putting them in 1 liter well bottles at $20 a bottle. They're just remnants of stuff he hadn't sold. So he was going in with, a LIFO, last in, first out system. So when he ran out of his $20 liter rums, he would fill it with the oldest barrel he had and kind of work his way while the other ones aged, which is insane because those are the most valuable by far and a long shot. If you know anything about barrel aged spirits, the older it is, the more expensive it is, or the more it's worth. So that would be the last thing you would do, is to bottle the oldest stuff first in a $20 well liter of rum with no age statement, 80 proof, 40%. And I had this moment. I'm like, if this were bourbon, 14-year-old single cask, it would be worth $250 a bottle. It would be insane. And this is like, not in the last 6 months. This was years ago when barrel prices were sky high for bourbon. And I was just like, how is this possible? How is this man doing that? How is he not realizing this is so valuable? So I tried to buy the barrels off him and start this project, a while ago. That didn't work out. And so, but it stayed with me. And so I said, you know what? How much more of this is out there? And so I quietly and carefully did the work and found all the right people to talk to and deal with. And I started making some phone calls, and that I'm good at that, to say the least. And so I can get people to start telling me what I need to know. And from there, I had some really great conversations. I met some really great people, some really, some new friends out of it. And yeah, now we're 4 states in, 5, our 5th state is on the way. And we're going to probably end the year with 7 to 10 states total, represented in the lineup with single barrels and cask-strength releases. We are about to run out of our California releases, so I need to go back home and look around at home and see what else is out here, because I thought I had bought enough for a while, but when you sell them by the entire barrel, which we just did that with 2 of our 4, goes fast. So if you see me focusing on Louisiana 10-year-old, that's why, because as of right now, I got to stop selling California. I got to start selling Louisiana, because I got more Louisiana than I've got California. Don't know why that is. It just maybe barrel size, maybe profile, maybe the locale. I don't know. But I'm jumping ahead probably here a little bit. But.
No, you're good. No, and I respect that. So I'm a New England boy at heart. So I'm actually from Massachusetts. So I grew up in Western Mass. I don't have the Poctica and the Harvard Yard accent, but I definitely have a passion for that. Now living in Georgia, enjoying this Georgia rum. It's really good. So that's pretty cool. I really like it. And
what do you think?
I like it a lot. Great flavor. A lot. You can taste the wood notes on it. There's something I'm trying to pick out of it that is very prevalent to me that I'm still exploring. I like the spice on it too. I like how proofy it is. I like that with it as well. But there's something on the palate I'm trying to figure it out as we're talking. So my mind's trying to do 10 things at once after I just got done with a work day. So,
yeah.
But let me ask a question. When you're going and you're highlighting all this stuff, what stories are you trying to tell through the brand? What is the main focus that you're like really trying to tell with these rums across the U.S.?
I think there's stories and there's components that we're trying to make clear and prevalent. So I want people to go, man, American rum, this is good. There's kind of there's so many ways to say this. I'm tongue tied. Too much chat GPT for, all the business stuff on the other backside. And I'm a one-man show, so I don't have any help. So, it'd be much harder to do as much as I try to get done in a day or a week without the help of some AI, lifting here and there. But
yep.
I think it's true what they say. It comes back and the brain doesn't work the same way as it used to. Or it could be that this is my second or third rum today. So it could be that. It could be the AI. I'm just pointing fingers at everyone but myself.
Hey, respect the hustle, right? I mean, let's take a minute and pause here, right? I have a lot of respect for what you guys do, and that's the whole purpose for this podcast. Is I want to give you guys the platform to showcase that you're just not a bottle. You're not throwing bottles out. There's something behind all of that, right? If you got to leverage AI, we all leverage AI. I use it personally. I use it business wise. It's needed, right? I respect the hustle because everything you're doing, releasing a brand, hunting down barrels, like that's badass. So respect that for sure.
Great. I mean, now you can just put the voice one on, the Sora or whatever it's called. I forget the name, but you put it on and like you just talk. It's like they're in the room with you, so you can have a conversation. So if I'm doing barrel samples and proofing, I'll just read out exactly what's in front of me. So I've got a beaker and it's got, I've got 500 milliliters of rum at 60.5%, and I need to take it down for this one sample for another project for whatever. Or I do a lot of whiskey blending, actually, more than even rum. I'm the master blender on a rum project out of Florida, actually.
Cool.
And so I'm just constantly like reading out proofs and dilutions, like add this much water, add this much whatever. It's like it just tells you what to do faster than you can open up the website, type it out. If you can speak it, you can get the answers. It's kind of cool. So it does help quite a bit when it comes to measurements and proofing, and it speeds up the laboratory process. Not that I'm a scientist or a chemist of any trade, but I do a little bit of that. And when it comes to proofing samples for clients, it's definitely an interesting part of my spirits world outside of mainland. But to answer your original question, what's the story we're trying to tell? What's the point of all this? Why do it? What do we get out of it? What are we trying to prove or say? I think there's one conversation about American rum matters. American rum is here. There's a lot of well-aged, high-proof, quality rum that needs to be tasted. And what you'll find with just the initial 4 barrels and a lot of the products and barrels that we're going to be putting out this year is that they're not commercially available. And I mean to say, if I put out a 10-year Louisiana cask-strength single barrel, it's not to say that distillery doesn't make other rum commercially and that it's available all the time, but it might be 80 proof. It might not be a single barrel, or it might not be cask-strength, or it might not be all three. And so the Georgia rum you're tasting, full, story back, that distillery closed in 2022. So I had to dig up. Yeah, it's not Richland.
No, obviously. I mean, that was when you said it to me, I'm like, it's Richland. Maybe it's Richland, because I don't think they do a lot of single barrel expressions at Richland.
They do. They do.
Okay.
Barrels. Yeah. So Richland does offer single barrels. They do offer cask strength. To my knowledge, they don't age state like big and bold, loud and proud on the label, which we definitely do. Is almost as prominent as our logo, which is the sugar cane we designed. I say we a lot. It's just me. I've had designers help with some of the design work, but when I say we, it's just me. Turn the W upside down. It's just me.
It's me.
But anyway, I think there's the American rum point we're trying to drive home, but then there's the idea that rum is every bit as important as, say, whiskey or tequila, and that it can be drank in the same fashion where it could be ultra premium. It's a sipping spirit. There should be $75 to $150 bottles. It should be drank exactly like I'm drinking it, either neat or on a cube. Really does not need to be pirates or pineapples or cocktails or tiki. Nothing wrong with pineapples or pirates or tiki. I buy that stuff. I drink that stuff. I support that stuff with my own money constantly, from domestic brands to imported brands. However, I am bullish on the fact, being a whiskey. Go look at my other room over there. It's somewhat public on my Badwater channels and all the other stuff I post on LinkedIn and Instagram and whatnot. But yeah, I've drank a lot of whiskey. I would say I've drank as much whiskey as most of the folks out there, and I'm not that old, so it's pretty wild. And with that knowledge and experience of that many whiskeys that I've made, that I've bought, that I've drank, that I've been privy to at all the industry events, being on the inside looking out, and then you get back to rum, it's every bit as good, it's every bit as sippable, it's every bit as important. There is virtually, in my opinion, no cocktail that you can make with a whiskey that you couldn't make as good, or if not better, a cocktail with a rum. There is a rum out there for every whiskey, if you will, and that kind of light bulb click goes, man, why are people just sinking all their money into just whiskey? They should diversify. And Mainland, I think, touches on that sort of. I don't know if you edit these or not. I'll wait for the.
No, it's real life, man.
So we get a lot of fire engines, and I got to leave the door open for the airflow. But I spent time in bourbon. I love Scotch. I drink my Scotch like it's my job. I love my rye whiskeys. I love all my world whiskeys, but tons of Japanese, tons of Irish whiskeys, all that fun stuff. But there's something very communal, there's something very patriotic and cultural about bourbon, right? There are bourbon societies in addition to whiskey and Scotch societies in almost every major city in America. And I always use a joke, there's no vodka society, there's no LA vodka society that I'm aware of, right? And if there was, how many martinis can I drink, right? What are you going to do at a vodka society? Whatever. But no, I not to shit on vodka. I sold a lot of vodka, millions and millions of dollars of vodka in my life, and I liked what we did with vodka too. But the concept of how communal and how patriotic and how historical, like all the characters and the places and the connection to various acts and treaties and laws and politics that bourbon plays in the history of America. Rum does all of that too, right? Rum predates bourbon by almost 100 years. And so I just put a post about this, but it's really fascinating to me that rum, especially American rum, isn't garnering or generating that same buzz and that same emotive, like hardcore gung-ho feeling. You talk about rum, you talk to even the best rum aficionados, it's all Caroni or Caroni or however you say it, and it's all Barbados and Foursquare and those. And look, Foursquare got me into rum. Foursquare should be on every shelf of every rum and whiskey drinker in the world.
Yep.
Full stop. It's good shit. My point and what Mainland is trying to do is enter the conversation, dominate in our own small way for the country as a brand that unifies all these distilleries. Look, do I want to put out blends? Do I want to put out more cost-friendly and approachable price points and bottles that aren't 120 proof? 100%. That is maybe down the road. But right now, I want to speak the language of the purists and the aficionados, not just from rum, but from whiskey as well, that are all just chewing on and diving into this freaking hazmat. I just sold 2 hazmat barrels in the last week.
Did you really?
Barrels, one Florida, one California.
Wow.
And it's great. I think it's great because they have a whiskey audience.
Yep.
One's a whiskey club, one's a whiskey e-commerce site. So super excited to see how the whiskey world is going to react and share and expand upon what we're trying to do with rum. So I'll pause there and then.
No, that's cool. No. And so, yeah. And I really relate to your feedback there because I started in bourbon as well, right? Like I think probably a lot of us in the US do. I got tired of the rat race, right? I got tired of the, hey, here's all these releases or, hey, here's these prices or, hey, this is the X price for this bottle. And, it's normally only $50 and you got to pay $150. And it got really tiring. And I ended up jumping into rum and trying different ones. Quickly found out I'm not a fan of dosed rums in any way, shape, and form. So then I had to really be specific about what I was looking for. But then we're sitting there and I'm starting to buy these bottles. And I very much like you, I appreciate Scotch, Irish, Japanese. But then my friend group, I'm the bourbon, rum, tequila, mezcal guy now. Somebody else was the Scotch guy. So Springbank, Long Row, all these different Scotches, right? I have another guy who's an Irish guy who has these wild Irishes. So we all complement each other really well. So I jumped into rum next. And I'm like, rum's the next big thing, right? Rum's it. And I'm buying these bottles and my buddies are like, this is a 20-year-old rum and you paid what for it? Are you freaking serious? And it's this delicious.
There's a lot of value. In Scotch too. I would
agreed. Yeah.
A bourbon drinker that can venture outside the bourbon aisle.
Yes.
And learn that 10-year-old, 12-year-old, even whether it's independent bottlings or distillery releases.
Yep.
There's so much value if age matters to you. If you're a drinker that goes, you know what, I don't care what anyone says, I like a 10-year this or an 8-year that or a 20-year this. If that matters to you, and I'm not saying it personal opinions aside, I'm just saying if that's something that kind of gets you to kind of fork out a little more money, you'll find so much more value, the quality of what you get for the price you pay in rum. Even more than Scotch, but Scotch as well, relative to bourbon, is really eye-opening. And there are a few bourbons out there, Russell's 10, I've seen it $26, and people forget about this. Because it's not hype. It's not, there's some sort of societal, like we have to have Weller 12. I'll pay $200 for Weller 12, but I won't spend $26 on Russell's 10. I think they're about the same proof, if I'm not mistaken. But anyway, the point being, like, really? Like, I'll take 8 bottles of Russell's 10 over one Weller 12. That'll last me a lot longer. I'm playing the long. I'm a young man. I gotta play the long game and drink for a while, not just one good sip at one time.
Yeah, no, all day. And I agree with you. I think and I'm going to speak for the consumers here a little bit. I don't think it's always about age. I think it's about quality and transparency, right? So that's where I want to kind of get in the next question. Your bottles, mad respect for the transparency, because in this community, we just talked about this the other day. We talked about mezcal, tequila, and bourbon, and a couple other podcasts and connections I have. And the transparency in a bottle to the consumer is huge, right? The quality then that goes along with that transparency is a big deal as well, right? So for you, like, what does that mean to you? How does that transparency, the quality that goes into that, what does that mean to you and your brand values?
I've always been a big believer of this mantra that people only know what they read. So if the label doesn't say it, they won't assume or attribute. If I don't put single barrel, they're not going to guess it's a single barrel. They'll think it's not a single barrel. They'll think it's many barrels. So if you say single barrel, they'll trust you that it is a single barrel. So consumers and buyers, they won't believe anything that's not on the label, and they believe everything that is on the label. So if you say it's, 2017, they're trusting you. You are making an agreement with your consumer that, otherwise, that's what false advertising is. So you have to be transparent. I like to put as much. I've become more and more and more transparent, but I think transparency has always been a through line with infused vodka. When I said lemon vodka, there was fucking lemon. Can I cuss on this?
Oh yeah. Shit. Fuck. Let's go. Let's do it.
I get the. You watched the Tim Robinson show. I think you should leave. Have you seen that one?
I have not.
there's a funny bit about cussing on there. He's big load of horse caught. Like, oh, we can cuss. We're gonna say whatever we want. It's like, dude, that's not what it means. That's not what cussing means. Anyway, I think there's been a shit ton of transparency in infused, because when you say, oh, there's lemon in the bottle, it's a fucking lemon in the bottle, right? It's an actual lemon or a peach or whatever floating in the bottle. With Broken Barrel, it took a minute to get there. It wasn't as transparent from version 1 as, say, version 2 or 3, where we ended up getting to this point where the packaging was super transparent, and it had what we call the oak bill along with the mash bill, where we broke down the types of staves. We always said where it was from, where it was distilled. You have to by law anyway, but we didn't like tuck it in the corner. We put it prominently and proudly on the label. But with Mainland, I think we spell the name out in words. We put a picture of the state. We have the age and number of years. We have the year distilled in case it was confusing or you wanted to figure out. So not just if you want to go to number 2, if you want to go to the 7-year.
Oh, I'm already on number 2. Number 2's hitting a spot right now for me. Yeah, I really like number 2.
I actually poured number 1, but number 2. So, and this is again from Scotch influence. So you put the years, but you also put the year distilled, so that you know when this bottle was released. Now, I don't go as far as to put the year it was released, the year it was distilled, and the age. I think that's overkill. And I have a limited amount of space. It's not the biggest bottle face. I don't have a big giant like square bottle. It's pretty tight. So I did the big giant 7 for 7-year, and I did the big giant 2017. So you can assume this bottle was bottled in either 2024 or 25. If you found this bottle 100 years from now, you'd be within 12 months of when it was bottled to figure out when it was. I'll probably do some sort of a table on the website as we release more of these, so that it's something of interest. At least 2 releases from each state, 2 Georgias, 2 Floridas, 2 Louisianas, 2 Californias. I'll break down a table of what was when it was bottled, like the exact date of the bottling, so that people can actually track what they have themselves online. I like that transparency. It may not be on the label, but it'll be online. I think we have a lot, like you said, on the label already, that whether it's molasses, or if you look in the case of Louisiana is molasses and cane sugar. We have the barrel type, whether it's a bourbon cask or a sherry cask, the barrel size. So we've done 15-gallon, 30-gallon, 10-gallon, 59-gallon, 132-gallon, which is the 500-liter sherry butts. We put it on there. It's all on the label. Number of bottles per barrel, that's also on the label. So we really, again, we try to be transparent as possible. Now, they didn't tell us, the distilleries we work with didn't all approve to using their name on the label in writing. Yep. So I put the geographic coordinates of where the distillery address was, because that's not using their name as per the agreement. So you can look it up.
That's very smart. No, and I listen, guys, when we talk about transparency on a bottle, I want to share with you on the podcast. It's nice enough to send me 4 samples. The transparency on the samples was badass. I'm literally looking at samples reading Florida rum, full sherry matured, 7 years, molasses, 130 gallons, 56.8 ABV, 113 proof, right? And that's just to scratch the surface compared to what's on the actual bottle. So there's somebody who cares about transparency when they're sending samples to somebody with all that transparency. That's pretty freaking awesome. So cheers to you.
I just put what was on. I put what was on the bottle label on the sample label. I thought it made sense.
No, it's awesome. Okay. That's great. And speaking of the locations, right? And this is where I think it's really unique, because knowing all the rums I have from across the globe, right? Terroir, climate, all that stuff plays a really key role in what you're drinking in all of this, right? And people don't realize, I don't think, that the United States has all of that uniqueness in a single country. So how does, when you're going through all this, you're looking for all that, how much has this really kind of shaped like the character about like what you've chosen, where you've gone to first? Is there any kind of not science, but decisions made behind all of that?
Yeah, absolutely. I chose not to work with any brokers, so I worked with the distilleries directly. Which that's kind of an empty statement, actually, because there are no brokers that specialize in American rum. If anything, I have more diversity in my back room here than any one broker has of American rum. When I say broker, they don't have it. I literally have it. So if you wanted to buy one barrel from 4 different states, I could sell them to you today. Not you, but whoever would want to buy them.
Yep.
Today, I could sell that. Like, that's pretty diverse. So I'm not even a broker. I'm an owner in that regard. I'm not selling barrels right now, though. I'm keeping them, and they are selling. So I need to bottle them, not sell them. So other than going direct to the distilleries, the choices were, and it's changed ever so slightly. I was going to try to do production, consumption, and history. Consumption, California and Florida, large populations, they drink the most rum. Production, Georgia and Louisiana, make the most rum. There's more rum made in those 2 states than California and Florida combined. History, Boston, New York, Albany, Staten Island, like 1660s rum distilleries, up to over 50 distilleries in the region outside of Boston at one point in time, now down to 10, wow. 5 active, and I'm saying rum distilleries, not whiskey, vodka, rum, gin, brandy, aquavit, everything I can, as many SKUs as possible so I can have a full bar, that was the idea. But I think that Massachusetts and New York have proved a little harder to find what I'm looking for. And when I say that, I mean it's got to be the right price, the right age, and the right profile. So I've tasted several rums, Louisiana, other states, that I did not end up buying. So I tasted them. I made the executive decision, talked to my whole board, which was myself, and we said, you know what? It has to be a rum that I think rum lovers will drink, but also whiskey lovers will drink. The initial goal here, I'm going to be on a few other podcasts, hopefully here, like the Bourbon Lens and even Bourbon Showdown. Like, these are bourbon podcasts, but the idea is that we can speak to the whiskey drinkers and say, listen, if you're going to buy rum, this is the rum to buy. And if that message connects, and as a diehard whiskey drinker and producer and blender and collector, I can safely say these rums are fucking whiskey drinkers' rums for sure. I sampled, whiskey drinkers on these as I was bringing them in, not just rum drinkers, because the rum drinkers would have said yes to a lot of things that whiskey drinkers would have said no to.
True.
And even like a lot of mezcal samples would probably not pass a tequila drinker's smell or sip test.
True.
If you will. So bridging that gap is part of the art.
Yep. And that's the whole reason, like, for this podcast, we did a live the other night on Instagram doing tequila samples with a gentleman that I know in South Georgia, and somebody popped on from a podcast that's bourbon focused, and he's one of the hosts on the podcast, and he's like, "Hey, I'm into tequila, never tried mezcal like this." I'm like, only bourbon fans, only bourbon fans, only bourbon fans.
What's his name?
Oh, there's 4 guys. Only bourbon fans is the name of the podcast. So they popped on. He's like, "Hey, I haven't jumped into mezcal. This is all. Or we talked about tequila. And we talked to. I'm like, I have mezcal samples because we jumped into that. I'm like, I'll send you some. And that's the whole point for this podcast, right? Because I started in the bourbon silo and then branched out to rum, and then I was like, oh, tequila. I had somebody in Syracuse, New York, and a bartender introduced me to tequila, and then I started scratching the surface on mezcal. And there's a lot of this cross-pollination that needs to happen between all of these silos that everybody's in. And I, honest to God, think it's happening, but I think it's happening more with bourbon and tequila and Scotch, right? It's very unique, but I don't see it happening with rum. And I'm starting to barely see it with mezcal a little bit, right? So my whole goal here is to really introduce everybody to all of it, right? Go try it. Call me, right? I'll give you a damn sample if I got it. I'll send it to you. Call somebody you know and ask. That's the whole point of this, is to build that network out beyond that silo you might be in. Go explore something different. If you try and you don't like it, cool. You tried it. That's the key. You tried it. Give it an honest shot and see if it's actually something that you relate to. Because I agree with you. I just had that Florida one's hitting like perfect for me right now. That Florida one's badass. So that's great. So agree with you. Like, that's where I appreciate, again, your hustle, what you're trying to do, because I thought rum was the next big thing, and I saw the similarities, right? And I thought that there was a lot of that.
Here's what here's where I provide a little caution. We keep saying the next big thing, the next big thing. I think there's a lot of people that even in bourbon have lost their shirt, if you will, or lost money, invested poorly, overexpanded or overbuilt or whatever. I think COVID definitely provided a false front or like a pop of comfort and safety around volume and growth that was, I think, industry-wide, alcohol-wide, artificially high, and it gave a trajectory and promised returns from a business financial investment status that I think was a little misleading or misguided. And I think there was a little bit of it got ahead of itself. The people selling 7-year-old or 5-year-old bourbon for $100 a bottle gave the barrel brokers reason to believe that they could sell the barrels for $5,000 or $6,000 or $7,000 when they were probably only worth $2,000 or $3,000.
Yep.
And I remember even at Broken Barrel, we paid over $2,000 a bottle for 2-year-old that you can buy today for $900. Terrible investment. Not my entire decision, but I was on the team that approved it, and those were the times. COVID, scarcity. Investor dollars were pouring in. No plans and jokes on them now because they're trying to scramble and sell that shit. But at the time, you go to a Bardstown Bourbon Company in 2021 or 22 and you say, I need 70-21-9 mash bill bourbon. And they're like, oh, we'll start laying it down in 2027. We're so backed up. And then all the while they're expanding. I'm not speaking specifically about BBC, but all those folks in Kentucky expanding. And the brands got fucked. I mean, the brands got real screwed because they got their contracts pulled out from under them. And the distilleries, the contract producers would be begging to have those supply agreements back for the brands today.
Yep.
Because those investor dollars are gone.
Yep.
They're not there in bourbon.
Different world now.
You're buying. I mean, if you're buying, distressed asset bourbon. So with rum, it's a whole new world. It's a green pasture. But to say next big thing, I caution because I don't think it deserves or requires this institutional investor build, expand, overproduce. Absolutely not. No way. There's no reason for that. All I'm trying to say is, hey, American rum should be 10 times the size of what it is, which is still minuscule compared to the Caribbean. Look, we drink as Americans, I think it's like 70 or 80% of what comes out of the Caribbean. But of all rum consumption in America, we are like less than 5% of our own product, of our own distillate. That's crazy.
That is crazy.
And with tariffs and other things going on, how is that even fathomable? It's wild. So my thought is, okay, let's rebalance a little bit here. Let's go 1585 on the domestic versus imported consumption on this already small category. I think rum is about the size of like Irish whiskey. That's it. Just not whiskey, Irish whiskey in the US. And I may be wrong. Irish whiskey may be bigger. I could be wrong. Jameson's pretty big.
Yeah.
So Captain Morgan's pretty big. Bacardi's pretty big. But, and again, I'm not counting, Cuba or Puerto Rico or any of that as, or USVI. I'm not counting that as domestic. When I say domestic, I mean like it ends at Florida. It ends at California. Hawaii, Alaska. Hawaii makes some good rum, actually. And I totally want to think of some creative way to incorporate Hawaii into it and call it like mainland offshore or something like that. Like do something where I can bring in Hawaiian and Alaskan rum from the islands of America. These
the offshore series. You can get Guam. I mean, Guam's a U.S. territory still, isn't it?
I don't know. When you get into Guam, USVI, and Puerto Rico, and I'm like, what are we just doing the 50? Are we just doing? What are we doing? One of the big ones, like Nantucket, they make rum on Nantucket.
Do they really? I didn't know that. That's badass.
It's an island.
Yep, there you go.
It is not part of the contiguous 48.
There you go.
Geographically, geographically. But I don't know, man. It's like so funny.
But
all these things come to light.
People will people will appreciate that stuff. I mean, like just you talking about, I'm like, all right, that's a great idea. Like I have some Kohana rum from Hawaii, and it's fantastic. I have the Koa finished one, which is great. It's very unique. So definitely like that's a really cool like spinoff. When you get to that point, you're like, hey, we're gonna do some island rum from the US, so that's pretty cool. The island series, the US island series.
Yeah, they may take offense to the name Mainland at the outset. You never know. No, I mean, I reached out to some folks in Alabama and Mississippi recently. I've got inquiries out to DC, New York, Massachusetts, New Jersey, Maryland. A lot of fun stuff going on.
All right, that California one hits too.
It's crazy.
They're all fantastic. I'm drinking through them as we're talking, and there's not one that I do not like yet. They are absolute, dude. These are all fantastic. Every single one is absolutely.
This one was a California. It turns 8 in August.
Okay. Very cool.
August 18th, 2025. This is an 8 year, so it's 7.9 right now.
That's really cool.
Right there.
Let me ask you about your launch. If I'm not mistaken, you launched at the Rum Curious Summit in Long Beach.
That was our hard launch. Our soft launch was the 17th of May. So today is the 17th. We are exactly 2 months in business.
That's awesome. One of these times I'm going to get to one of these rum things. Everyone has them. I've seen them in Chicago and all over the place. I'm like, I got to get to one of these. What were some of the highlights and surprises from that experience for you? I've read nothing but fantastic things.
It's an amazing event. Brian Inman, the rum champion, is a beast. He is an actual force in the rum movement. And if there were 10 more of him, rum would be as big as whiskey today. I mean, he's driving the conversation. I met some other folks there. There's a gentleman out of Canada who runs an account it's called Crocomec. You should check him out. He's got a lot of followers. He's got probably 3 times as many followers as Brian. Very funny, very lighthearted content. Very comical. He's a character. I think he plays a character almost. I met Arminder Rum Revival.
Yeah. Did you really? That's cool.
Fun. It was fun. I met the rum girl, Garnett Phillips, we kept trying to connect. I was in Brooklyn and I went to her bar and had a daiquiri with her bartender. She wasn't there, so I left bottles. I wrote a note. It was like a whole thing. We were like trains passing. We couldn't quite connect while we were in Brooklyn. You know, there's a lot of shit going on between. I think that weekend was the Rum Festival in New York, or New York Rum Fest or whatever. And then I was there for Bar Convent because I had a whiskey thing going on. And yeah, but the Rum Curious Summit was the epicenter of all of that. I met everyone that, you need to meet in the industry. And, if you're going to be in the rum world, it kind of felt like, obviously rum, proportionately, it felt like the rum version of the Kentucky Bourbon Festival. So if you're in bourbon, you got to go to KBF. If you're in rum, you got to go to the Rum Summit. It's kind of interchangeable. I mean, KBF is 7,000 to 10,000 people. This was 500, but I think proportionately, if you look at the size of the categories, it's about right. So maybe even more to rum's favor.
No, that's cool. That's good. I'm glad you had a great launch there. I think it definitely said something for you. I've been trying to me and Arminder have been going back and forth, trying to connect and everything as well. So hopefully I'll get to have him on the podcast as well. He's awesome, dude. He's a great guy.
Yeah, I need to hit him up and send him some stuff and figure that out. It's on the list. I got a million things to do.
And there's only one of you, right? Let's be clear. There's one of you.
It's me. I am one man. It's hard.
With that launch, right? I think that in time, expectations are going to start to come, right? What's his next release? Where is he going next? What state's next? Or do you go back to an existing state and you find something else, right? How are you?
Yeah, like to keep it consistent. I think that's a good point. Like, I was doing some work today, and much to my dismay, I'm realizing if things take as long as they take, which is generally, for me, it's about a 2 or 3 month process from outreach to barrels landed, I need to start looking for more California rum right away. And anyone that hears this that sells California rum, call me. I'm buying. But you'd be amazed how resistant people are to like taking your money. They're like, oh,
why?
I want to buy these barrels from you. Oh, I'll get back to you. You're like, hey, about that money I was trying to give you, do you still want it? I don't know. like, really?
Wow. I'm a little surprised by that.
Are you about to barrel that rum in the next 6 days, weeks, month, 6 years? Because it's been sitting for 6 years and you've never released anything over 1. You're not using it. Let me buy it from you. Cash money. Cold hard, let's go. And like nothing, like crickets. You'd be amazed.
Really surprised by that. I'm really surprised by that. I mean, I would think that if you go somewhere, right? Let's say you go to a one that closed, right? Then you come in. All right, what's your stock? What's the value? We'll give you X for it. Cool, we're liquidating, maybe, or you have to buy it for whatever.
Yeah, X, I never found. I found already closed, and I found. There was some luck. I got to the Louisiana, was right time, right place.
Mm-hmm.
Didn't happen overnight. Met him in September. Closed a deal in January of this year.
Wow.
So, yeah, it takes a minute. But I'd like to, just as a California resident and a California-born dude,
yep.
I'd like to have a California at all times.
That's cool.
I don't ever want to run out. Would I dip into a 6-year? Potentially, if it was really good. If the rum was as good as a 7 to 10 year, sure, I would go 6. I wouldn't go under 6. I think 5 and below is something else.
Okay, gotcha.
I think it's a different price. It doesn't fit the price category.
Gotcha. With California, so like I've not been to California much in my life. I've been to San Francisco and the general area. I'm a big Niners fan, by the way. So if you're a Niners fan, been a Niners fan my entire life. It's nothing recent. Like this has been like when I was 10 years old. So I'm a Niners geared up.
We had a Niners blanket in my house when I was growing up.
Dude,
I was born in San Francisco.
Oh, were you really? Okay. Huge, dude. Huge. I mean, I have the gold jacket. I got sneakers. I've got a wavy inflatable guy that waves outside. Oh, I got the whole 9 yards,
you
man.
are definitely way bigger Niners fan than I ever was or will be. But yeah, you win.
Big deal. But with California, the terroir is way different across the entire state, north to south.
There are a few states that can compete with us. We've got desert, farmland, snowy mountains, and, relatively dry beaches.
Yeah.
I mean, we've got a little bit of everything. I've always had this notion of the four corners of California where you've got, high elevation, 10,000 foot barrels aging. You've got prairie land, agricultural land barrels. You've got fucking Death Valley, hot as fuck, dry as fuck barrels. And you've got something down by the beach, go Carlsbad, go Temecula, go out to like something, a couple miles. It's like the California you're tasting.
Yeah.
That is 16 miles from the ocean. However, we did a barrel 01 that was 1 mile from the ocean. There was one barrel from a different California distillery that I sourced and bottled that was only 30 bottles, but yeah.
So that's what I was going to ask. So you just basically said you're finding barrels across the state in all different areas.
Two distilleries so far.
Okay. Yep.
We had pricing and samples from a third. They were not fitting for the moment in time. They weren't the right barrels to start with, so we didn't go with those. Instead, but there's still a few others out there. I've actually been tipped off to quite a few people in California that actually have or may have some 6+-year-old rum that we'll explore quite heavily.
That's badass. Yeah, this California one's fantastic. I'm very impressed with this. The age on it's 9 years, 53-gallon barrel, 121.8 proof. It drinks like it's 110 probably. Like the proof is not even there. It's wild. It is really good. The color on it's nuts too. Like I mean, that's pretty dark. That's really cool. Yeah, it's great stuff, man. It's fantastic. Let me ask you a question regarding let's see. All right, let's talk about this. So let me ask the business side. So really about limited initial distribution, shipping currently to 28 states, right? You have a big kind of task ahead of you, right? Like how do you continue to kind of grow and expand into other states and build your brand? The online presence is there and stuff like that. But how are you doing that and maintaining that brand integrity while you continue to grow? Being a one-man show and hustling as much as you are too, how the hell do you do that, man?
I do it at my own pace. I have no investors. I have no gun to my head. I have no
one to answer to.
I have no one to answer to. So I'll get there when I get there. I don't care. Like
that's cool.
This is not my main, job. And so with that in mind, Mainland Rum is a great example of what I do in the hours when I'm not trying to make a living, right? That's a crazy thought. My pastime is most people's full-time, right? I am so passionate and so carefully selective about this kind of stuff that it seems like, oh man, this must take up 70 hours a week. And no, it would. If I had someone else's money, if someone invested in this brand, that would change immediately because I prioritize other people's money as if it were my own. And so if I were to raise money, that dynamic would shift on a dime. It would be a complete 180 and you would see it's already doing a lot. It's doing well. I am on social media a lot. I've done well with the press releases and the reviews, and this podcast is an example of one of many podcasts to come where I'm going to be promoting the shit out of this. But 3 days a week, I'd say, in terms of like total time, 3 days a week to get this going is, and again, could I have done it faster if it was 100% of my time? Maybe, but the barrel sales were slow. That held me up. I could have got this out in 5-6 months. Instead, it took 9. From like the moment I landed on the name Mainland, that was go time. That and barrel number 1. When I got barrel number 1 and I knew I could buy it for what I could buy it for through a relationship and how good it was, and I knew this was going to be like a show-stopping, like game-changing rum, and it really is. I mean, there's 20 bottles, maybe 19 bottles left in the world, but it is, and I swear, it is the best rum I've ever had.
Now, hold on, 19 bottles and you look down on the ground. Is there 19 bottles I can call you and be like, hey, send me a bottle, I'll purchase it from you? Because I see you looking, and I'm already like...
They're on the top shelf up there.
Is it available on the website? Because I might have to go buy one and talk it up.
No.
Oh,
they're not on the website. So
send me an invoice.
they will be, here's a plug. There will be 3 bottles on seal box.
Oh, that's the S.
They are going to take 3 of them, which will put me at 16 bottles, like 1 and a
bottles.
Bottles.
When is that going to be on seal box? Do you know yet? Can we give a date?
Here's what I can tell you. It'll ship from. Well, it depends on when this releases. If this releases in 60 days, it'll be gone.
It won't release in 60 days. It'll release around the first week of September timeframe.
This will?
Yep.
They'll be gone.
Oh, shit. All right. I'm going to be watching Steel Box every 5 minutes.
We're going to shift to Steel Box. Because the truth is they're buying a really, really, really great barrel of 8-year California hazmat. Which is, I mean, it's almost negligible. The barrel 01 is uniquely special. There's only so many bottles, whatever. We wax dipped it, the whole thing. The 8-year California they're buying is only 6 proof lower. One's 161, one's 155.
Holy shit!
It's fucking strong.
Jesus,
if that box falls off the skid, it's going to cause an explosion. Right? Jokes aside, though, there's probably 3 times as many bottles in that barrel as there were in barrel 01.
Yep.
The number 1. So it'll be cheaper. It'll be substantially cheaper for the 8-year for them. They got a good price on it, so they'll price it accordingly, and it'll be not half the price, but it'll be 30-40% less than what you pay for barrel 01 just because of the rarity.
Yep.
And the labeling and the packaging and the quality. It's probably 50-50. I bet half the people that try the 8-year that Sealbach is buying would say it's better, and half the people would say barrel 01 is better. But I think at this point, they're when you're drinking 150 plus proof rum from California, they're both from California. Yep. And I can tell you, barrel 01 is younger than the 8-year.
Really? That's cool.
If you prioritize age, go with the 8-year. If you prioritize just the actual fucking spirit on its own, straight up for what it is, and whatever the age statement is, whatever the proof is, whatever, throw everything else aside and just focus on what's in the glass.
Yeah.
I would still argue that barrel 01 is marginally better.
Okay.
Because of how unique it is. And I say that across everything I've tried. If you only tried mainland rums, I think barrel 01, the 8-year Sealbach, they're going to be negligible.
Yep.
But if you really put the whole world at it, I think barrel 01 stands the test of time across everything.
Cool. How many bottles are in the 8-year that they're getting? Do you know?
70.
Okay.
70 bottles.
Hey, drop me a note when they release. I'll
70
bottles. That's only That's nothing.
I hear people going limited edition, only 7,000 bottles. I'm like, that's not fucking limited. In my mind, that's not limited.
Yeah.
I mean, if you're doing 100,000 cases of 12-pack a year, sure, yeah, 7,000 bottles is dropping the bucket. But I don't live in that world. I live in the world where a case is a lot.
Yeah.
A bottle matters.
Yeah, I've done business with Sealbox. My other guy I follow, Mr. Given, on he's my good friend on a Macon, huge Sealbox guy. Like, that's a lot because in Macon they don't have a lot of the rum, so he's bought a lot of rum from Sealbox and stuff like that. So
mostly they've done this one called West Malt House or something, and they did Rolling Fork.
Yep.
Not a ton of rum though.
Occasionally you see stuff on there. I mean, there's a couple of different things. I mean, I've seen the Rolling Forks. What else has he gotten from them? There's a couple other things he's gotten from them. I've seen some things on there too. I'm trying to remember. Yeah. But yeah, all right. I'm excited about that. So I need to pay attention to Sealbox every day. They tried,
and they turned down the sherry cask for the 8-year, which is funny.
Really? Wow.
Another group ended up buying that 8-year almost within days of them saying no. So it was really interesting. I pulled a lot more of the 8-year Florida sherry cask hazmat than I did of the California, just knowing how much more there was, because it's a much, much larger barrel, 59 gallon versus 30 gallon. The evaporation levels are totally different. I've had proper, I probably had 10 ounces myself of the 146 Florida. I was shocked I didn't pick it. I thought it was, for me, I was like, man, that 146 Florida, it's a banger. That's a real banger. All right, dude. Jason, try the 10-year.
Yeah, I just poured it. The Louisiana one, I literally just poured it. That's what I just poured in my glass. Literally.
This will be my last one. But,
yeah, it was really good. So everybody look out for Sealbox. This might be late, but I'm gonna start.
September is a good time for Sealbox. There'll be bottles on Sealbox. They're buying a little bit of everything.
Okay, that's cool.
We have the purchase order, so we're good. You'll be able to get some stuff from them. I highly recommend. Their prices will be better than our prices from our website. So if it's between us and Sealbox, do me a favor and go to Sealbox because it'll prompt a reorder. So go to Sealbox.
Gotcha. I'm gonna hunt that freaking 01 down. I'm gonna hunt it. I'm gonna find it. Hopefully.
If you have an in and you can get to Blake, say, look, take my money now. I'll pre-buy it. I'm sure he'd love to sell it.
I should ask him.
Edit this part out, but yeah.
And I'll share it. But the with me, I'll share it. So I'll find other people that I know. There's a guy in North Carolina, the North Carolina rum crew. I know him. I know the Chicago Rum Ramblings guy in Chicago. I connect with him quite a bit. I know
these guys. I don't know these guys.
Chicago Rum Ramblings in Chicago. They have tastings and everything in Chicago. I can hook you guys up and connect you guys. There's a rum community here in Atlanta I can connect you with. I know all these people, so you and I getting connected is hopefully maybe an opening for other things for you as well.
We're doing an event with the Boston Rum Social Club.
Badass.
And what we're doing is we're doing a discount code for them, and we're going to be doing tastings. So they bought some bottles, shipping those out, and they're going to do 50 ml samples. Should be good.
That's cool. Let me ask about a little bit about your future before we jump into some fun stuff. We only got about 10, 20 minutes left, so I want to be respectful of your time. Think 5 years out, right? Might be a long way out for you, right? But I think that there's something you're trying to reshape this category, right? Which I really appreciate. And again, I'm a big guy I'm a hard ass worker, right? So hustle, the passion, all that stuff. And the amount of time you put into what you're doing 3 days a week, I'm like, shit, I'm going to drop a podcast and go freaking find something that I can go buy myself and start to sell like that too. But where do you see Mainland?
You wouldn't be the first one to take the influencing, whether it's Instagram or podcast or some other medium, YouTube. Grow it, man. I encourage you.
Appreciate that.
It's not as hard as you think to start. It's about starting.
Yep.
Where you go, make it financially comfortable. Don't kill yourself and do anything that'll put you and the family in a hard place.
Yep.
It can't be money you're not willing to lose. It's like gambling.
Yep.
But it's easy enough to find a contract bottler to make something for you, whip up a label, AI these days, AI the label, blah, blah, blah. Do something cool.
That's
Make
cool.
something. Make something.
I'll have to look. I'll call you when I need help and need tips and advice.
Well, consulting with people to build brands is my bread and butter. That's how I pay for all this rum.
That's cool.
It's consulting.
That's cool.
That's what Badwater Brands is. Anyone listening, if you're trying to build a spirits brand, I'm your guy.
There you go.
I'll save you hundreds of thousands at minimum. That's what I like to do. I like to make the value so compelling that's like, man, I'd happily spend $50,000 with Seth because I'm going to save $500,000 on X, Y, and Z. It's a no-brainer. It's a very small transaction in the grand scheme. And look, starting a spirits brand can be expensive. It can cost hundreds of thousands to millions of dollars, depending on the goal of the individual. Now, Mainland's not going to cost that because my goal isn't to sell the brand for $100 million. I'm not crazy like that. I want to win awards. I want to, be known for being first. I want to be known for being the best. I want to be known for bringing awareness to the category. Those are the wins for me. And if I break even, great. If I make some money, even better. Selling the brand, I have no illusions of grandeur on that front. So your question, what does the next 5 years of Mainland hold?
Yeah, can I pause you there for a minute? The Louisiana's badass.
It's badass, right?
It's awesome.
It's funny. I'm drinking it.
Wow.
On ice, but this ice is no good. I'm gonna do it neat.
Golly, man. Listen, everybody, every single time we've gone through these, I've wowed, right? Every single one is absolute quality. It's absolutely fantastic. And the thing about this is there's a uniqueness to each of them that they are not similar in any way, shape, and form. No.
There's no way a rum.
It's an experience.
In Louisiana is going to taste like a rum in California. You would be very hard pressed to manipulate the environment in Louisiana and California to have them taste the same, even with all of the uniqueness of terroir in California.
Oh man, that Louisiana's cool as shit. Man, there's a dankness on it. There's like there's an old antiqueness to that too. I get on the nose. Mustiness to it, dude. That's awesome.
And caramel too.
Yeah,
all the vanilla, all of the caramel.
Yeah, that bottle kicks ass. All right, let's talk about 5 years for you, right? What are you thinking in 5 years, right? How does that look for you? Where would you like to be? What does that look like?
I'd like to, from a business standpoint, I'd like to remain profitable throughout. I don't ever want to see us go into the red. I'd like to offer at least 12 or 15 states of high quality cask-strength single barrel rums. Look at grand goal. This is grand. The grand goal would be when a consumer thinks of American rum, an obvious answer would be Mainland Rum. We accomplished that. I accomplished that. That's like, where it's at. If you think of mezcal, you think of, Vida, right? You think or Illegal, you think of tequila. I don't know. A lot of that's a big category, but Salsa, 1800, all the staples, right? When you think of when you think of Canadian whiskey, right? You're going to think of Crown Royal. You're going to think of Canadian Club. You're going to think of there are brands that Irish whiskey, Jameson, Teeling. In American rum, I don't know if there's a winner. I think a Privateer and Bayou, but that's because I know they're some of the biggest brands in the country.
Yep.
And they're not that big, relatively speaking. I know medium-sized whiskey brands that do the same volume or greater. So, yeah, I think if you think of mainland, if you think of American rum and you think of mainland, I did my job well.
That's awesome.
I would love for my kids to grow up and read about do a history project for some school project. When I was in college, my dad lost a lot of weight. When I was a kid, he lost like 150 pounds on what was called a very low calorie diet, or a VLCD, 800 calories a day.
Wow.
And when I was in college, I wrote a paper on it and I got a really good score, and my teacher came and talked to me. He's like, this is amazing, so personal, so whatever. No AI didn't exist then. But
We're old school.
I'm young, but I'm not that young to that AI was. When I was in college, couldn't even fucking do a Google search. I went to the library for that project.
Yeah, you and me both, buddy.
Fit up at the library.
Yep.
I'm not that young, but I'm not that old.
Yep.
I would love for my kids to do a project when they're in college and look up the trajectory of American rum, and for the answer, the search result, to show that Seth Benhaim did wonders for the category of American rum and was spearheading a resurgence of not just the rum category, but American rum as a major player. Volume, respect, scores, recognition for the category. If that's achieved in the next 5 years, fuck yeah, man, that's great.
That's badass. Yeah.
I can die a happy man knowing I did something.
Yeah, and what I like about that, right, is you start putting, and I hope I don't say this the wrong way, but you start putting not other people, but other things on notice, right? Like, hey, we're here. We exist, right? You may not know this through all these maybe smaller locations or what they're doing, but you are trying to build that platform to say, we need to be considered in this entire equation, we being the mainland, the U.S., right? And all that we have to offer from a rum production and a rum aging standpoint. So I think that's a noble thing that you're doing. And I think it very much fits into what's needed within this environment as far as rum goes, and hopefully encourages the growth as well.
You reminded me of something I needed to do.
Seth literally grabbed the pen and paper and is writing something down. True professional there.
I have to send pricing to Europe because there's a group in Europe that wants pricing. I got to figure that out. It's a long. I don't send product out without getting paid, especially to a foreign country.
Yeah.
So it's been a conversation, if you will.
Fair enough. Well, man, I'm gonna end it here. I mean, I'm gonna be honest with you. I can't thank you enough for coming on and sending me samples.
What was your favorite?
See, here's the thing with me with favorites, man. I'm gonna tell you. Asking me for a favorite movie, favorite food, favorite song, or something.
Your favorite of the 4 rums you just tried. That's not that hard.
Louisiana, I think, is my favorite. I'm gonna go Louisiana first. I think Louisiana's first, to be honest with you. Yeah, I honestly the Florida and the California one, the Cali's one is pretty unique as well. They are very different, which I really appreciate, because that is the one thing I think when I've jumped into rum and understood the differences between the countries where they're produced, how they're produced, the aging, the yeast strains, whatever, the wild yeast, whatever. Like, I really appreciate all that. And I have rums from Trinidad, Tobago, Barbados, Jamaica, all over the place, right? And every single one tells a story. And I think this is a story that needs to be told, and it's being told through you. It's a story of the United States. It's a story of what we can produce. It's a story of terroir. It's a story of our climate. And I think that really drives the uniqueness in every single one of these expressions. And not one of these is any less than the other. My palate, it might be different than others. Everybody should try every single one of these. There is a uniqueness and a absolute impeccable quality to all of these that I think everybody should experience. So, dude, kudos to you for being the hustle. I know you said only 3 days a week you do this, so kudos to you for the hustle. But seriously, dude, this is badass. I support this, and this is amazing.
The hustle is the other 2 days a week where I have to make enough money to fund the other 3 days a week of having fun doing this. Because at the moment, this hasn't paid me anything. So this is all fun and games. This is all, expense at this point. It's a lot of that. It's all of that rolled into one. But yeah, man, it's exciting. I think I get an email from somebody saying they bought some bottles online and they go, man, when are you releasing something new? Like, I am already ready for the next one. Like, this was, I think the email subject was first of many. And then the next email is a purchase order for an entire barrel. And the next email is, can we come taste everything at the tasting room next week? Like, I got an email, I got a Facebook Messenger message from a distiller producer out of Iowa. He's like, hey, I love what you're doing in Mainland. So cool. Let's trade bottles. And that was all in one day. All of that was in one day. Like, man, something's happening here.
Yep.
When you know, like, oh, I'm onto something. I'm doing something right. People are responding. The response is good. And that's exciting. That's what I thrive on.
Yep. It's because you have passion and you give a damn. To be honest with you, that's why. And people resonate with that. You're telling that through your bottle, and every single pour that goes into it, you give a damn. And that's what makes the difference.
Well, look, if you put something shitty out and people go, man,
that's shit.
That Seth guy really is putting out some crap. Like, that's not gonna. Your products are your resume at the end of the day, and people go, man, does Seth make good stuff? Like, I'm happy to say, if you go back, you try infused vodka, it's good vodka. If you try and broken barrel whiskey, I would say, with the exception of some variability in style, and some things are not for everyone, but if you take the peat and the honey and those things out, like, overall, the core broken barrel, resounding positive. People loved it. People were very excited by it. They loved it.
I had the 115. It was great, man.
It's great. The 115 cask-strength won best.
Fucking fantastic, dude.
It won best Kentucky finished bourbon in the world in 2023.
Yeah, I had it. I swear it's awesome, man.
We were named most innovative whiskey producer in the world. It was great. That was all great stuff. Is that what's going to happen in rum? I don't know. I'm certainly going to apply next year for Brand Innovator of the Year for America. And I'm certainly going to apply for, the best rum in America. And if the early reviews of some of the stuff I put out are true or accurate, we were already told that one of our rums was better than anything the distillery itself has ever put out, and for less money.
Wow.
So that's a win for me, because I live by value. Value is important. So awesome. I'm going to put a link to this when it drops. Everybody on the website, the social media, the whole thing.
I appreciate that. No, I appreciate your support. And like I said, thanks for sending bottles. Like, I'm fully behind you. Like, this has been, these things sat. So just to let you guys all know from the podcast, these samples sat on my counter in my bar in my living room. I literally stared at them for a week going, don't open them, don't open them, don't open them, which was a very hard thing for me to do. So this was quite an experience, man. So thank you very much. I really appreciate you sending me samples. I did not pour everything, so I am really going to start to share these. I've got enough ounces left to share with some people that I know that will really respect them. And I think you're going to be highlighted in a future podcast for samples as well. So thanks for sending these over to me, man.
Of course, absolutely. And I don't know if this video posts. I realize I'm super red. It's so hot.
You're good, man. You're good. It's hot as shit here too.
It is like a solid 90 degrees in this room. I'm dying, and I waited for the end to say something. And you can't. I don't know if you can see the gleam of the sweat or sweat. The hat is holding it all in. If I take this off, it's just going to be like a pool
dripping down. Yeah, we don't want that.
We don't want. I have a fan right here.
Trying to stay cool.
The fan's barely keeping me together here. I'm busting at the seams. I'm sweating my balls off here. But now it's all good and fun because I really, really enjoyed talking to you, Jason.
Yeah, man. Same here, Seth. Same
love
here.
what you're doing with the podcast. So keep it going, and I'll talk to you soon.
All right, man. Thank you very much. I appreciate it. You take care. And that's a wrap for this episode of the Dram Amateur Podcast. A huge thank you to Seth from Mainland Rum for joining the podcast, and to all of you for tuning in, sipping along, and being part of this amazing community. If you enjoyed the show, please take a moment to like, share, and leave a review. It helps us grow and reach more spirit lovers like you. You can also follow me on Instagram at @Dram_amateur for updates, behind-the-scenes content, and more. Your support means the world to me, and I can't wait to keep sharing this journey with you. So until next time, remember, life's too short for bad pours, so make every dram count. Cheers. Thank you for tuning into the Dram Amateur Podcast. I hope you enjoyed our deep dive into the world of spirits. Don't forget to subscribe and leave a review. I certainly appreciate all the feedback and support. Stay tuned for more exciting episodes as we continue our exploration of bourbon, whiskey, rum, tequila, mezcal, and beyond. Cheers, and until next time, keep savoring every sip.